night we have the steamer on our small baler, and we are they're getting ready to bale up some Bermuda grass. So I'm driving right now while there's still a little bit of sunlight to go watch these guys bale some Bermuda grass with the steamer. We want to see how it works. We're excited, but sad that it's the last night with it. So let's see how things look. Let's see how it looks. I bet they're not using very much. This is a test run. It's on the scale. Nice solid bale. I like the way the Bermuda feels better than the alfalfa so far. Bermuda feels good. We haven't cut any strings on them yet. I'll ask Brian when he wants to cut a string. The steam was at 20%. He just bumped it up to 30. We want to see how it flakes. Got to be careful with Bermuda grass. You don't want too much moisture in Bermuda. It'll mold worse than alfalfa. But we would like it to flake. We have a hard time getting Bermuda to flake. We just bumped it up. We're going to cut a string. We cut a string on a bale. Over here, it looks good, but we're seeing if we can make it look a little bit better. If this can work with the Bermuda, it's another reason we like this steamer for our farm. Alfalfa and Bermuda grass are two main crops that we bale up. So this is one more thing we get to use the steamer for. In the past, they used to shoot the moisture down right behind the steamer, but by the time it made it to the baler, it had already gone up the hay too much. They learned after several different trials, they have the best. You contain the best leaf at the pickup head. So that's why the steam is on the pickup head and not out in front of the baler. So the steam is in a boiler pot and it goes through those tubes, down those tubes and to the manifolds. The manifolds are where the steam is injected into the hay. These tanks are where the water's held, and each tank is baffled so that water doesn't slosh back and forth too much, which is nice, pulling around 700 gallons of water. Oh, that's a pretty setup. What's the moisture set at?
25 now. We were 30 for that one row.
Okay.
Back to 25.
What do you say about 30? Too heavy?
Yeah, then it started kicking up about 18.
So they ran it for 30%. And the bales were probing on through the Gujic 18%, which Brian doesn't like it quite that high. So they dropped it back down to 25%. And he says that he likes what it's doing a little better. Man, this is neat to see this thing run with Bermuda grass. I'm not gonna lie, this is exciting as well. So I just caught up to a bale where one string broke, so I went ahead and cut the other two. This bale was not steamed. There's still some, it's flaking decently, I guess, so we'll try to get over there and cut one with 30%, but over here, this side's not wanting to flake very well. We had a baler malfunction. Oh, look at all these little flakes. Well, kind of.
Way better than normal. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks a little better than it normally does, but doesn't flake like alfalfa, which Bermuda never does. You can make it flake, but this Bermuda might sit in a barn for 6 months, so we do not want too much moisture at all. So we've been testing out this Staheli West steamer for a few days, 6 days to be exact. Today's the last day with it. We're about to take it back. I thought I'd give you a quick run through on some things that I might not have pointed out earlier. Let's take a quick look at the points of steam, where the steam comes out. So underneath this, on the bottom side, there is a small hole, and that's where the steam comes out. So right as it picks the hay up, right here, it's steaming it. Right here, just before it goes into the plunger, just before it gets fed into the plunger, there is steam right there. Also, right here. So right where it's picking the hay up, these tines are what pick the hay up. So as it's picking it up, this is steaming it. Now it's carried to those holes, those points. These two big lines come down. It splits off into 3. 1, 2, 3 for the one inside, the one on top, and the one underneath. Here is where we fill the water up, and here's where you see how much water is in the tanks. So we're pretty low right now, but we're done, so that's okay. Safety first. The PTO shaft runs through this steamer, and that's what controls or what runs the baler. Here's a camera right here to where we can see the pressure of the baler. As you normally, as we sit in the cab, you can look back and see that pressure gauge, but obviously there's a steamer sitting in the way, so there's a camera on it to where we can see what we're doing. There's also a camera on the back to where we can see the bales right there, so you know if your strings are breaking. This is the Gujic. It works like a microwave, and it measures the moisture in the bale as it's coming through, which is extremely handy with the steamer. Some pretty hay, steamed. Let's go look in the cab. Here are the cameras, the screen for the cameras, so we can see the bale, the pickup head, and the pressure. This is our scale, Terra Systems, how we see how much our bales weigh. The Gujic, you can see the moisture in the bale after it comes through. The baler controller, the steamer controller, and the tractor, which as an operator, these are all things you're paying attention. This just shows baling hay isn't as easy as it used to be. You don't just start and go. There's a lot to pay attention to with this specific setup. So it's pretty cool. This tractor is definitely overkill, but it's been fun to run. I ran it for a few hours one evening, but Manuel's been the main guy in it. So yeah, if we end up getting one, it won't be this tractor though. So yeah. Well, I hate to see this setup leave, but we got to say goodbye.